例えば見ていこうかな。
Now, just to explain that concept a little bit better, I mean, you're like, what does he mean? There's light coming out of our DNA. We all living things emit light in the form of something called zero-point radiation. And what this is basically it's being emitted everywhere at the same time, so we can't see it. It cancels itself out. And it's light in the physics term that's too weak and too small for us to perceive with our eyes, but it's everywhere. And the source of this zero-point emission is something called the zero-point field, which is something that's just very recently been discovered. And as I continued in my readings, trying to rebuild a worldview that was going to make sense to me, I realized we're actually on the edge of a scientific paradigm shift that's totally, probably hasn't happened since Galileo. Like, we're actually entering in a whole new scientific understanding of reality that's fundamentally different to everything that we've ever been taught. And a lot of that revolves around the zero-point field, which has also been known as the quantum vacuum or the hollow field, scalar fields. It's had a lot of names, but now they're narrowing in on it and they're calling it the zero-point field. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit because it involves what we're talking about here. Basically, they discovered that if you take what we call empty space and you create a vacuum, so you suck all the matter out of it, and then you take it all the way down to absolute zero, which is the base temperature of our physical reality, it's actually full of energy, full of quantum energy. So this idea that you know, I'm sure we all got at school the model of the atoms with the electrons revolving around the nucleus, or even planets and moons and the sun, and we have this idea that everything in between is this vacuum, this empty space. That's actually turning out to be entirely incorrect. It's not a vacuum, it's a plenum. It's a sea of energy. We now believe that the universe comprises of only 4% matter, and the other 96% is quantum energy in various forms. And this zero-point field is I'm getting lost. So, this zero-point field, anytime a wave moves through the field, any kind of electromagnetic wave, light wave, there's many kinds of waves out there. Waves move like snakes, up and down, sines. Every time a wave changes direction, it emits a virtual particle. Now, a virtual particle is a tiny bit of quantum energy that comes into our physical reality and disappears equally as instantly. And they've known about this for a while in the quantum scientists because it's because of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So, but they've zeroed it out. They've said, okay, all this quantum energy is everywhere, but it's coming in, it's going out, it's coming in and going out. It doesn't mean anything. It's called 0 point energy. And this is this energy that occupies the so-called empty spaces. Well, now, as our sciences have got better and our mathematics has got a lot better, there's a group, many scientists in the world, who now believe that this 0 point energy is actually the fundamental energy state, which is to say that this 0 point field is the sea at the bottom of everything that everything else comes up out of and then goes back into. All matter, all energy comes in and out of the field. For example, one of the great questions of science is why does the electron go around the nucleus? Why doesn't it lose energy, circulate and collapse? Well, they now believe that it's being kept in its orbit by 0 point fluctuations. So there's this constant recharge of energy that's coming in and out of the sea that's keeping our physical structure upright. Another calculation that's been done by a massive physicist called Bernard H. Another guy, Alfonso Rueda, explaining gravity and using 0 point calculation. Basically the idea is that mass so the 0 point energy is now feeling like the most eloquent expression of this was really Arthur. He's been nominated for the Nobel Prize